Hey everyone, Fervent2 here, and welcome back to Reverse 1999 for a big announcement. Now, I was recording the White Rum's travelogue, but I'm not sure if I should post that because it would be an hour long, and of course it'd be like a minigame of sorts, but it has no real story. It's just like a side story. But what I'm going to be doing today is that the fact that in this week, or last weekend, the new chapter has just been released as well. So to go over this, we're going to go over to the summoning. And our character for the day, for the entire week, or next couple of weeks, is Recoleta. Which I honestly have no idea what she does, to be honest. All I know is she is involved in prison for being a writer. Why, though? So, and we're going to go over to the jukebox version here, and it is a costume for Melina as well. The theme is magic and fantasy. Why? She is a magician, like a tarot card here. Then I look into the garment shop, and I've already gotten Willow for looking like a seer or fortune teller or something like that. It makes her look good, by the way, in all honesty. Then I think Lapena's theme is being a ranger, I believe, because you see the little ear accessory that makes her look like an elf. Pretty funny, huh? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you the trailer, or at least that I have not clicked this little icon here, and I cannot pronounce the name. It's either Folie et Derasion. If that's how I pronounce it, I apologize again because I do not pronounce. I mispronounce a lot of things very badly. So, well, let's go ahead and click in this event tab here and see what this new chapter offers us. Get your popcorns ready, snacks, and drinks.
Hear this! For us!
For us!
For poetry!
For poetry!
For us!
For us!
For free will!
For free will!
For us!
For us!
For literature!
For literature!
Our haven!
Our haven!
The Panopticon!
The Panopticon!
Nowhere else but here!
Oh. Yeah.
Dores, that blind writer? 3 days ago, she asked me for directions to Comala Prison.
This is an experimental facility. Soon you'll see just what that means.
Jailer, who is the ruler of this prison?
Okay. So it's underwater.
According to the agreement, the Idealist and I represent the two factions of La Sociedad. In light of his possible assassination, the Congress will now be chaired by me.
Okay. I hear everyone is going to be pulling for this dude. Look at him.
What are we doing here? What even is this prison?
That's what I want to know.
You are a prisoner of Comala,
Ooh,
and
tiger
a
head.
guest of Manus Vindictae.
Fiction and reality are two parts of a whole. We're trapped in a story with a predetermined ending.
What? It just makes less sense and less sense. Alright, I would say I would pull for the guy. Don't know why. Alright, so welcome to chapter freaking 9. Folie et Derasion. Now, I have no idea what is this chapter. A prison that is made to occupy writers, novelists, poets. At least that's what it looks like to me. So, what does it say? A novel no one can understand, a phantom born from a dream, a nameless courage, a meaningless act, reflection of darkness and fractured infinity. Alright, so I've been farming for these things as well, and Yeah. Looks like I can only get recollect. I can't pronounce this. Alright. Let me see. We got Asir's Ducks again. Ruinas gloriosos y directrices de metáforas. This has got to be her story as well. So let's go ahead and enter this new chapter. Alright. So it looks like it. I see a bunch of dices that you use for tabletop games as well. Alright. Let's just go on ahead and go. Into the new chapter. Chapter 9, Folie et Derasion. The prologue. I wonder how long this will take. So the Platonic year whirls out a new right and wrong. Whirls in the old instead. All men are dancers in their tread. It goes to the barbarous clangor of a gong. Is that a natural saying? I think it might be. It's the final days of March, and the daylight hours of Ushuaia are shrinking away. If that's how pronounced, I may not pronounce this right. I apologize. Past the busy season, the city is faded and quiet. At this moment, in a cafe at the end of the world, conversation and laughter are sealed within in an airtight glass dome.
Hace algunos años, trabajé como guardabosques en un campamento en Cuernavaca. Allí conocí a un poeta surrealista mexicano.
Okay, I like how we're just outside and we can barely hear her because she is inside.
Estaba especialmente agradecido de que estuviera ahí. Unos animales habían entrado al campamento y les orienté por él. No fue gran cosa, en realidad. Como muestra de agradecimiento, me explicó esta extraña historia. Una que ocurrió en un pueblo del desierto de Sonora, llamado Amalfitano, en 1975. La gente ahí seguía una creencia muy poco ortodoxa, que giraba en torno al dado de Babilonia. Un día, una investigadora con una maleta llegó al pueblo. Vino a estudiar sus costumbres locales. Una razón nada sorprendente para que una intelectual erudita apareciera en un remoto asentamiento del desierto.
Something just clicked on me. Does her name mean recollection?
But little did she know, this dusty old town and its peculiar custom would lead her down an entirely unexpected path.
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt, Recoleta. Does this researcher have a name? She could be Nora, Joanna, or Teresa. Any name, really. I feel like you want people focusing on this story, not keeping track of who's who.
Confusion and shock intertwine on the storyteller's face.
Thank you for your advice. But she isn't a Nora, or a Joanna, or a Teresa. She's just herself. A paracausality researcher.
You see that look? She's halfway to eating you alive. Face it, Maria. She wouldn't be the loca we know if she listened to anyone.
Ah, alright. So you didn't like the opening. Fine. I'll come up with something new. Maybe I'll start with a bit of exposition on the Die of Babylon, beginning with its origins, as a secret relic created by an Aztec priest, imprisoned by the conquistadores.
The mysterious Die's origins never get a continuation, as her story is interrupted a second time.
I don't know if that's going to do much, hermana. I'm beginning to think we'll never figure out what you're trying to say with this novel. And, well... and this isn't your fault.
Ay, Dios. Just tell her, Maria. We're going back to Buenos Aires.
¿De vuelta a Buenos Aires? ¿De repente? ¿Así? ¿Sin más? Pancho, Maria, what's going on? Did I do something wrong during our travels?
The startled storyteller's eyes her companions with the last 2 months of searching for reasons.
Ah, see. I know what it is. I've bored you with my constant rambling over this novel.
No, Recoleta. It's got nothing to do with your novel.
Don't you get it? We're flat broke. Why do you think we're stuck here scrubbing tables?
The man slams his damp washcloth on the table to emphasize his point. His voice breaks the illusion of silence in the cafe.
Because we can't pay for all the mate we've been drinking.
That wasn't a question, Regoleta. We've crossed the continent, crashed the readings of all those prestigious poets, and lived the way a real artist should. And, I admit it, it's been just as amazing as you promised. But we can't go on living like this.
You know that we both care about you, and we believe in your novel too. I'd be lying if I said this journey meant nothing to me. Getting to ride around the continent on a motorcycle like Che Guevara himself? I never could have imagined I'd get the chance to go on an adventure like this. We got to live the dream.
A real dream. Except for those days when the motorcycle broke down. Though that was a real tribute to Che's journey too.
Don't tease, Pancho. Recoleta, since you invited us to join the Visceral Realists, we've both found amazing new ways to channel our inner poetry. Even though I still don't understand what in the world you're trying to say with your novel, or for that matter, what visceral realism actually is.
Maria, Pancho.
You told us not to worry about the definitions, to feel and to live in our words. We did just as you said, and it felt great. But...
She looks out at Ushuaia. If that's how Ushuaia? I can't pronounce that name, I'm sorry. Feeling a chill. Snow falls from the dimming sky. The season is shifting. Soon, gray and white will blanket the colorful houses of this desolate land.
Ahora el frío del invierno se instala. Y lo único que parece importante es ese pequeño pueblo ficticio.
Storyteller sinks back against their accusations, searching for words.
I appreciate your honesty, amigos. I was worried the problem was much worse than all that. Winter here isn't as dreadful as you think, and I know just the place to keep us warm.
I wonder what it is.
It was 1520. Arcanist Ferdinand Magellan sailed across unfamiliar waters under orders from the Spanish crown.
It's new.
Over the vast gray sea, he saw spots of light in the distance. An island. He named it Tierra del Fuego.
Fuego?
For the next 400 years, Ushuaia faithfully served its role at the end of the world. It became the continent's penal colony, and its largest building even served as a prison. Many Arcanists were exiled there. By the turn of the century, the Arcanist hunt had reached its peak, and the Comala Sanatorium was built.
What?
Well, as you may already know, at that time, most Arcanists were believed to be victims of madness. The sanatorium was their ship of fools. However, as people began to realize that Arcanist blood wasn't a guarantee of madness, fewer and fewer were imprisoned there. By 1947, it was officially closed. Until the 1970s, when a group of people from the National Foucault Studies Association returned to the island with new ideas for the location. They spoke in abstract terms and opaque theories that no one could understand. They rebuilt this place and gave it a new name. After a long period of construction, the Comala Sanatorium became a prison once more, one designed to hold Arcanist criminals. They were taken from the streets and the psychiatric clinics, from secret societies and rebel groups. Any Arcanist deemed mentally or socially unfit would be locked away there.
Wow.
This association claimed the inmates would receive the best treatment, and they would fully recover before being returned to society.
Bunch of lies.
A prison, a medical lab, a sanatorium. Call it whatever you want. That is what Comala is today. And we could spend the whole winter there. It'd probably
You're kidding.
be the easiest winter we've ever had.
All that it requires is a little bit of acting.
Wait. Hold on a second. Okay, for me, the part right here just cut off a bit. I thought it was my mic and all that stuff. I think it's either it's the game or itself. But what she's saying is, you want to go to prison just to spend a night from the winter? You're kidding me.
It won't be hard to pass ourselves off as a bunch of unstable crackpots. A touch of madness comes parceled with the gifts of being an Arcanist.
I am baffled by the extreme measure that she is going to do. Just to get into the prison, just to sleep off from the winter. Are you kidding me? But then again, they're broke. No money.
That's your brilliant idea?
Exactly.
To get us locked up in an asylum?
He read my mind.
You understand we'd be prisoners there, don't you? It's not like we get to put our feet up and relax by a fire.
No, it's worse. Her increasingly agitated companion turns his head aside, catching the faint outline of a patrolling gendarme. If that's how you pronounce it, I don't know. Through the frosted window.
You want to go to jail? Well, see that man over there? Go greet him with a punch to the jaw. Then you'll be set for the whole winter.
Sounds like a good idea.
Hey, she's agreeing!
Recoleta, please. We're not messing with the Gendarmeria.
Gendarmerie? That's it. I forget it.
We're going to my Aunt Julia's. She said she could take us in at her vineyard up north near the capital. Well, it's harvest season. They could use all the help they can get.
Now that's more sensible.
We'll return to Ushuaia next year. Or when the winter has passed. It'll still be great.
Recoleta's expression is as cold as the mate tea on the table.
I hear you, amigos. But respectfully, I must turn down your offer.
Why? Are you dead set on going to prison?
This has been more than just a road trip for me.
Really?
I know sticking around here for the winter won't be easy. But this could be my last chance.
Why?
What if things change again? I can't just wait for spring.
But why are you dead set on this?
Recoleta.
What did I tell you, Maria? She never listens. Wasting your breath. Adios, Recoleta. I don't think we'll meet again.
Pancho's apologetic words freeze in his mouth.
Mierda! Those gendarmes are looking straight at us!
Ooh. Ooh. Well, her wish came true. The cafe door swings open. A gust of cold air and dampness sweeps through the room. Recoleta's hair stands on end with the chill as she turns to face the door.
Stop right there! You three match the descriptions of some intruders at the poetry meeting in Casa Pionera.
Well, looks like her wish came true at all. Recoleta's plans a response, only to hear the scrambling words of her companions bolting away out the back door.
Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse.
Hey, you said you wanted to go to prison to sleep the winter off. You jinxed this. You brought this upon yourself, chica. And we're fighting.
You don't want to get on my bad side, kids.
Alright, I'm liking the music so far. Okay, I'm about to bind an ally sometime here and there. Alright.
No. Easy as pie.
Bask in the sunlight. Please, allow me.
Not too shabby.
Easy there.
Perfectly understood.
Fine. I never get tired of this one.
Fully mortal.
Just a gentle blow. Fine. I never get tired of what's a veteran without his gun.
No. Hi, Master.
Watch and learn, kids!
Devote yourselves to one another.
Come on! Put some power behind it!
I look forward to punishing you.
The sparkling of the sea, the shimmering of scales. There is always a light to follow.
Sweet dreams.
There we go.
And now, to return to my long-term mission.
Ooh,
Rest.
what did I get? Comala's collars. Ooh, alright. Cool thing. They are left behind in the cold, but a flustered young rider still dares not stop running. Until she stumbles on a patch of wet and mushy snow. That kind of strangely looks like paper. Oh wait, it's from her book, isn't it? Well, she got caught.
Oh, gracias a Dios. Creo que los perdimos. Are you alright?
And she found what she's looking for.
Ah, gracias.
And she doesn't know.
Better to kiss the ground than kiss the gendarme's boots, if one must choose. Wait a second. Dores, is that you?
Who? What?
Funny how life moves in circles and puts an old friend in my path. How have you been? Are you paying another visit to Comala? Dores.
Wait. A name falls from the sky, offered by a girl who has just face planted and cannot see the figure before her.
Timekeeper, could she mean her Dr. Dores? Was I mistaken?
You are. She wipes the snow from her face. Still dizzy, she makes out the stranger before her. As her vision clears, it becomes apparent that fate is not a perfect loop. At least, the person holding the suitcase in front of her is not the same woman she'd met before.
How strange. I've never seen two people so alike. But please, forgive me. It's been a long day. No need to apologize. In fact, the person you just mentioned sounds like someone we're looking for. Could you tell me where you last saw her? Sure, Excuse me.
Well, she needs the warmth.
You're not from around here, are you? Your accents and those clothes give you away. Come with me. I know a warmer place to talk.
Please don't say prison. Please say you're not going to go to prison. There are 3 things to do here. So, the Circling Ghost, Buenos Aires Division Intake Port, and the Ushuaia Port Explosion. Alright, let's go with this for now. Alright, so the Ushuaia Port Explosion. The tremors from the explosion at Ushuaia Port shook the surroundings for nearly 10 seconds, after which strong winds carried the flames across the dock area. Thick smoke spread for several kilometers. The explosion injured 12 people, over 200 residents were evacuated, and it took the Navy and Fire Department nearly 6 hours to contain the fire. Unfortunately, key logistics facilities were reduced to ruins. Investigations confirmed that the explosions originated from 3 sources: an oil storage tank and 2 cargo warehouses along the 3rd dock. However, the disproportionate scale of the explosions raises suspicions of arcane skill involvement. It is still unclear whether this incident is related to the Xeno mutiny, or simultaneous investigations are ongoing into the other Arcanist organizations that may be responsible. What the hell is this? You call these a report? This is all you are handing in? Panic is already spreading. Do I need to remind you that Ushuaia is our nearest deep water port? Flames higher than the lighthouse, seawater dyed blood red. This catastrophe is bringing up painful memories of the war from over a decade ago. Our wounds are being torn open in the worst way possible. And after all this time, I gave you to investigate. You're just giving me a list of possibilities? A few days ago, people suspected those lunatics locked up in a prison. But what the hell can they even do besides bash their heads against barbed wire and spout their pathetic rhetoric? Maybe they scribbled out a doppelganger on a pile of backwards poetry, conjured up a few imaginary hot air balloons to float them to the port, and then molded a ton of bombs from mud and ice? Fat chance. The only thing you got right was not including them in your list of suspects. Otherwise, I'd have thrown you in that prison alongside them. Okay, so we got an upset boss. Alright, so Buenos Aires Division intake report. Alright. The Buenos Aires Division has received members of the Storm research team, Ulrich and Regulus. Both are to be temporarily stationed at the division while undergoing basic health examinations. The timekeeper and her assistant received the message upon landing at Tierra del Fuego and have departed on a mission. The message source and details of the operation has been reported by Sonetto. Our side currently has no access. Other survivors taken in: Barcarola, a pure-blood arcanist and musician aboard the Free Breeze. So this was pretty much after both Chapter 8 and that event. Fatutu, a pure-blood arcanist and a member of a Nucateo people. Further investigation of her people is required. So, yeah. Alright, let's see.
The moment armies start to march, the world stands still. You fight or fall back, charge forward or run. Those are the only rules on the battlefield. I don't see a start time on this report, nor does it state the reason for or the demands of this war.
Let's see. That's because the war hasn't started yet, or because this is a war waged with paper and pens. Does it really matter?
A literary war. Indeed, the violence acted upon words is often just as devastating as an order on a battlefield.
That's what I assumed when I saw the trailer.
Words must fulfill their duties to their creators, just as soldiers must answer to their commanders.
So I still don't see how this relates to what's happening now.
You don't? The young writers have all been exiled, sent down a path with no signs to follow and no destination. In dark days of bloody conflict, soldiers often find comfort in scriptures and verses, or in letters from their loved ones. They hold those words close, a fragile piece of home, a brief solace from the roaring of the battlefield. But as they fall one by one, they learn the bitter truth. No destiny awaits them but death. That bitter homesickness still weighing heavy in their hearts.
Well, I hope they can at least find some peace in their dreams.
In dreams? Maybe. Walking the streets of your hometown, spending a lazy afternoon at the writing desk. Dreams can take you anywhere, but live there too long, and the lines between fiction and reality will blur. And soon, you'll never wake up again. Soldiers crawl through trenches, roll in the mud, and charge to their deaths again and again, while words are forever trapped within the confines of poetry, made to live, die, and live again under the golden prophecy. I can't stand the way poets talk.
You know, some say the poets are depicted as people who are mad. You know, with their weird poetry and all that stuff, you know. I'm not sure what they depict poets back then, you know. Okay, so on to number 2, More Than Circles. Reading the closest on itself. Alright.
According to these news reports from Ushuaia, there was an arcane attack on the pier about a week ago. All the ships in the port were destroyed. Could Manus Vindictae be responsible for this? Or perhaps the Xeno rebels?
Hard to say. But things have been suspiciously quiet these past few days. I had been hoping we'd find some clues here in Ushuaia, after we lost track of the Manus, in the Free Breeze shipwreck. They would have gone to ground somewhere remote and off the radar. Indeed, it's possible they've already left Ushuaia. For whatever reason, it seems they haven't been pushing for the storm to happen quite as eagerly as before. I have a strange feeling about it all. They're definitely up to something. For now, it seems our new friend's story lines up with the intel from Moth. It seems the Xeno rebels really did bring Dr. Dores here. We should see if there's anything more she can tell us.
Timekeeper.
It is strange that... just in case I need to lose track. In the events of Chapter 8 and the event as well, along with the Sea Breeze as well, not sure what they were doing. I'm not sure in the Sea Breeze, they just wanted these shells to be as corrupted as possible, like I mentioned in that last video though. Not in the last video, but in the videos that I did in the event as well. And that's one part of a ritual. And I'm not sure. The ashes of Arcanist's ashes as well. I'm thinking, in theory, little by little, I think they are going to resurrect her. Maybe. But it's just only a theory for so far, so. The chief assistant hesitates.
The Foundation doesn't have any intelligence on Tierra del Fuego. If the Manus really are here, then we'll be on our own. The closest Foundation branch is in Buenos Aires, 3,200 kilometers away.
Sorry, it's a little late here, and I wanted to try to go through this. But it also got me thinking what they want with Dores, or anyone that is identifiable to her, though. She reflects without words, a reminder that the chaos caused by Igor's rebellion is still fresh.
Careful and well considered as ever, Seneko. It's possible they've already infiltrated Ushuaia, just as they did in Chisos, but the Xeno rebels may still be holding Dores. We can't just wait around. I'm afraid we'll have to take the risk. Ushuaia is not very big. If Manus Vindictae is here, we'll notice. Stay sharp.
Understood, Timekeeper. I'll keep an eye out for them and for Dr. Dores.
After a chaotic hunt and escape, the cafe regains its usual peace. I forgot how you pronounce that. Gendarmes are gone, and so too are Recoletta's companions.
My friends. They're really gone.
Yeah.
Adios, Recoleta. I don't think we'll meet again. So that's all I get?
Yeah, some friends they are.
We could have exchanged some farewell poems, read them out loud like we used to, and shed a few bitter tears over our heartfelt goodbyes.
Well, I guess they grew up past that kind of thing, huh?
But you know what they say. Goodbyes are only a senseless feast of unhappiness.
Pardon?
Oh, it's nothing. Never mind. Please, sit down. And could we get a pot of mate with mint, please?
Thank you.
Recoleta watches with interest as the two girls take their offered cups of tea.
So you're looking for Dores? I can tell she's important to you from your look.
Correct. Is there anything more you could tell us about the day you met her?
Of course. It was one of those gray, overcast afternoons.
Okay.
I had just turned onto Calle Bolivar when I ran into this blind woman on my way to the post office. To be exact, I didn't run into her. She called to me. It felt like a sacred moment in time, like something unworldly. I just stood there, frozen, as she walked up and fixed a loose thread on my sweater. I stared at her until my fingers went numb, and the letter almost slipped out of my hand.
Miss, could you tell me what's in that direction?
I followed her hand as she pointed forward. Strangely, even though I could see she was blind, I had a feeling that she knew exactly where she was pointing, and where she intended to go.
That's the way to Comala Prison, Senora. Is that where you're headed? I could walk you there if you'd like.
Thank you, miss. But I think I found my way.
She held a typewriter. How ironic that God would give her, at once, both books and night.
I am Recoleta. What may I call you, miss? I hope you don't mind me asking, Senora. I didn't mean to pry. It's only that I have to know. You're a writer too, aren't you? I've been working on a novel and, for some reason, I have this feeling you could be a character in it. Forgive me. I'm just so excited.
I really want to remember this moment.
Please, may I have your name? Or whatever you'd like me to call you?
I don't think I'll ever forget her smile. It was soft, kind, almost merciful. And oddly, it felt so ancient.
I wonder why.
No offense taken, Miss Recoleta. But first, I have a question for you. What does literature mean to you?
Sorry? What a question it was. I wasn't expecting anything like it.
You're a writer, are you not? And one, I sense, with purpose. Tell me, where does such powerful motivation come from?
Actually, well, I'm not sure, Senora. I have my pursuits and questions, but literature is neither the goal nor the answer to them. Literature is, well, it's just literature. I suppose if I had to define it, I'd say it's a tool. A kindling for fire, or a lens to see through. A means to explore and raise questions from different angles and express our perspectives.
And what an interesting perspective you've expressed. I see. But how does literature make you feel?
As though I'm a kid looking through a kaleidoscope for the first time. Well, maybe that's not the best way to put it. Perhaps something a little more subtle. Just when I was looking for the right word, she turned away with a little wave, heading toward the prison, her feet crunching over the fine snow. So she must have gone to the prison.
When did all of this happen?
About 3 days ago. I remember the sun came out for a while that day, and the streets were glistening with melting snow. You've heard of Comala Prison, haven't you?
Word by word, the question turns from an invocation into a declaration.
3 days ago. Then we may be able to catch up with her there, Timekeeper.
You're right. We need to get there as soon as we can.
Whoa, amazing. So decisive, assertive. A true show of character. You must be the very archetype of a charismatic leader.
Well, she is, after all, the main character.
What's left to say? Whenever the protagonist has what they want fall into their laps, we're all quick to complain about lazy writers using Deus Ex Machina to keep the story together. So, let's not dwell on it.
She reconciles the observation with a silent nod to an unseen author.
But anything can happen in a place like Ushuaia. It's a city where the day may only last 4 hours, and the streets are full of exiled Arcanists.
We appreciate your help, Miss
Recoleta. Please, think nothing of it.
Miss Recoleta. I'm Vertin, and this is Sinetto. We're investigators from the St. Pavlo Foundation.
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, likewise. Glad that I could help. But listen, ladies.
The girl winks playfully.
Everything happens for a reason, and now it's becoming clear. You're going to Comala Prison, and so am I.
Wow.
Maybe it's fate that brought us together.
What's your business there? If you don't mind our asking.
Oh, it's a writer's mission. But anyway, we're friends now. If you're going to Comala, you'll need someone who knows the way.
I cannot believe they're going to smuggle themselves inside a prison. Just to stay warm from the winter. I wouldn't do that. Okay, just got back and it's the next day. So, the place that time forgot. I guess we've arrived at the prison because look at this. Let me look around here. There's beach balls, there's empty cells, and it looks like a pool. I'm not kidding. It looks like a pool. Like the pool from the back rooms. The gray riverbed winds through the frostbitten earth, disappearing into the distant horizon. A neat yet dilapidated circular complex stands alone beneath the snow-capped mountains, as if abandoned by God, humanity, and ghosts alike. Let me take a look at this real quick. Look at that. I'm not sure how intimidating that prison could be, though. It might have been made by an Arcanist. I'm not sure. Outside the fence, 3 uninvited guests discuss their plan to get inside.
Behold, Comala Prison. It's the biggest building around. When the sun comes out, it looks like a rusty button stitched into the earth.
I still can't believe you're willing to go into prison just to get warm from the winter.
Everyone tries not to pay attention to it, but it's undoubtedly one of the most important places in town. This way. Careful. We're heading uphill. Oops!
The young rider begins to slip again. She is prevented only by Sonetto's quick reflexes.
Thanks. So, my new friends, you're from that St. Palominos?
Palominos? Sorry.
St. Pavlov Foundation. And Vertin is the timekeeper there.
Ah, very impressive. Sounds all official and polished. Then, I take it you've already got away into the prison?
The gate presents an unwelcoming face to the world.
I'll draft a letter to headquarters right away. Once they approve it, they'll notify the local branch in Buenos Aires. From there, they'll need to inform the Argentine government, who will then issue us a permit.
Excellent. Looks like our bureaucrats still have some worth. No offense intended, of course.
Since we're pressed for time, I believe we can ask that headquarters give high priority to our request. If all goes well, we should have the permit in about a month.
Ah, how expedient of them. But you know what? Maybe we shouldn't bother all those hard-working government officials with these trifling matters after all.
Why? It's the safest option. Better than to infiltrate and break it into prison just to get a bed and cheat without spending a penny. I know you're broke, but really? Prison? She instantly returns to her previous judgment.
I have a simpler solution that suits the urgency of our cause.
That sounds great. Oh, where are you going, Miss Recoleta?
To break in. Knock out a guard. Before anyone can stop her, the young rider hurls herself up the wall, scaling the side of the sort of skill that immediately suggests she's done this before. Yeah, she's a thief.
To the other side of the wall, of course. From Guadalajara to Ushuaia. There has yet to be a wall that could stop me. Come on, ladies of the Foundation. Sonetto, take my hand.
Please do not take her hand, please. Sonetto looks utterly flustered.
Miss Recoleta, please. A reckless act like that could have serious consequences. Please come back down.
For once, I agree with the rule, listener.
In fact, while the details of our mission are classified, I should warn you it may be dangerous, and we cannot guarantee your safety once we're inside. Perhaps it's in your best interest to return to town.
I don't think she'll care.
What? That is definitely not in my best interest.
For the scene, yes.
What sort of pusillanimous coward would I be if I just abandoned my fated companions here? Of course I'm going in with you. Or rather, you're coming with me.
Hell no. And your companions just ran away from you.
Please get down, Miss Recoleta. Someone's coming our way.
Please, for the love of God, get down. Get back here. From the other side of the prison's fence, a predator's gaze locks onto the figure perched on the wall.
Stop right there. What do you think you're doing?
Caramba, it's her again. The jailer of Comala.
The jailer? Huh?
Did she say jailer or jaguar?
Wait. Huh? Jaguar.
Come together to conquer
What the hell is that? It is a jaguar! Let me take a look at you. A Comala jailer. Look at this. It is literally a jaguar with a belt and a sword. And a hat too. I mean, the hat I could get. The belt too. But why is it gonna wield a sword if it is a jaguar?
Splash in the water.
Easy as pie.
Cold.
I never get tired of this one.
Please, mortals!
Just a gentle blow.
Is that really the best you have to offer?
I never get tired of this
Bask
one.
in the sunlight.
Handy little fires. Just a gentle blow.
Wait, did it petrify it? Oh, you did.
Come on.
Oh, it's
Put some power behind it.
I think it's an arcane jaguar.
Watch and learn, kids!
Please, allow me.
No perfect try, Master.
Keep up the pace.
There, my dark embrace.
There we go.
Finally, it's just you and me, Master.
So, now I know what she meant.
Miss Recoleta, haven't I made myself clear? I don't want to see you here again.
So you knew Recoleta. Look at, you're a jaguar. You're probably an awakened animal, maybe. I now understand why you wield a sword, because you somehow have an arcane skill that lets you pull the sword out from the sheath.
Jailer, we meet again. What a delightful encounter on such a...
Windy, cold night. A sudden gust of cold wind interrupts her.
lovely day.
I hope you're being sarcastic. I love the sarcasm.
Would you please just leave this place alone? I'll never understand why a promising young woman like you keeps snooping around a prison.
That's what I want to know.
I can't make this any clearer. Trying to break into Comala will do nothing to get you inside, but it will get you into a world of trouble with the Gendarmeria. So, will you stop these senseless breaking attempts? Comala Prison is only accessible to academic researchers and journalists, and even they must have official credentials in order to enter.
Now I recognize the voice. That's her. She's the one that spoke to us in that trailer.
Isn't there any other way to pay a visit? I truly do need to get in there.
I wonder why. She racks her brain for a plausible excuse.
Sorry to interrupt, but did you just say official credentials?
Yes, you heard me right. And you are?
I'm the timekeeper of the St. Pavlov Foundation. My assistant and I are here to visit Comala Prison on official orders from the Foundation. Here, this is my ID.
What are you thinking, Sonetto? Are you thinking you want to pet the jaguar? I hope you will not. At the thought of lying, Sonetto's lips fail to open for even a squeak. She goes flush red with embarrassment. What were you thinking? Through the prison fence, the jailer examines the pair as she takes the ID in her sizable paws. It is at least a very presentable looking card, boldly stamped with the seal of the St. Pavlov Foundation.
This is indeed legitimate.
She murmurs.
Welcome to Comala Prison. Apologies for my earlier behavior. It's been a while since we've had any official visitors.
Thank goodness. Well, we finally made our way in. Alright, I hope you guys are really good at listening to here. So, we finally made our way into the prison now. And with a furry escort. Alright. On to perform Comala's colors. I wonder what looks inside.
Día tras día, la investigadora de paracausalidad se escondía en la naturaleza fuera del pueblo de Amalfitano, estudiando los datos que había recolectado.
Funny.
Una tarde, al anochecer, una voz llamó desde fuera de su cueva. Ella dejó el equipo y las cintas y salió afuera. Un hombre estaba de pie, curioso, frente a su puerta. ¿Qué haces aquí?, preguntó, levantando ambas cejas. Nada sucede en Amalfitano en estos días. El local se presentó como el empleado del banco. Probablemente tenía la cara más amable del lugar. Ojos brillantes, mejillas levantadas, una mandíbula suave. Era una cara llena de esperanza. La investigadora le mostró los espectros que había estado recopilando.
He estado recolectando historias sobre el dado, explicó. Quizás ellos contienen la clave para explicar la aleatoriedad que muestra el destino. Ah, eso realmente me intriga, respondió rápidamente el empleado del banco. Me encantaría escuchar todo sobre eso, pero debo irme. No debo llegar tarde al funeral del pescador de dunas. Y con eso se fue. 3 días después, los mismos pasos regresaron a su cueva. ¿Volviste? ¿Cómo has estado? ¿Lograste llegar al funeral? Preguntó. No tengo idea de lo que estás hablando, respondió de manera cortante. No soy el hombre que crees que soy. Su rostro estaba agotado y demacrado, sus ojos hundidos profundamente en huecos vacíos. Era como si toda chispa de vida le hubiera sido arrancada, dejándolo solo con una cáscara vacía. La investigadora insistió que no se había equivocado. Conozco a las personas por su naturaleza más profunda, hasta la sincronización de sus espectros. Nunca me he equivocado antes. Lo que tú digas, el hombre murmuró de manera áspera. No entiendo nada de tus ideas tan elevadas. Solo déjame ir. Ha sido un largo día de pesca y lo único que quiero ahora es desplomarme en mi cama tambaleante. Se alejó con pasos que sonaban exactamente como los del empleado del banco.
As you might have noticed, Miss Burton, this facility isn't just a prison. It's also a research center. Its full name is the Panopticon of Comala. It was established by the Foucault Association in 1975.
So there's a reason why those protesters are saying the Panopticon. Huh.
We've hosted workshops, academic sessions, and even lectures about the Panopticon. You may even have seen some reports about it. Experts of psychoanalysis and scholars from various fields have come here to exchange ideas and seek collaboration in their studies.
So if we're being escorted by a talking jaguar, I assume we're still in Latin America. Or South America. Maybe. To the location? Where?
In many ways, the Panopticon is unlike any other prison you've seen before.
I see. No wonder Miss Recoleta has gone to such lengths to become a part of it. Actually, my assistant and I are here to inquire about a prisoner named Dores. Does that name sound familiar?
Hold on. I want to see a potential thumbnail for a bit. Just a bit. There we go. Dores. Why is she here, though?
Not that I recall. Could she have used a different name? What does she look like?
She'd have arrived here about 3 days ago. It's also possible that she came as a visitor, not a prisoner. She's a blind woman who always carries an old typewriter. She used to be a doctor at the Sao Paulo Veterans Residence in Brazil. And on the subject of different names, she once wrote for Atu, under the name Erd.
I don't think I've seen anyone fit in that description. And as I said, we haven't had any visitors in some time. Certainly not in the last 3 days.
But I did see her. I saw her walking towards Comala Prison.
Someone must have mixed up their memories. Simply put, I don't recall seeing anyone by that name or with that description here.
I see. Thank you, miss. Perhaps we made a mistake.
Sensing that her current line of questioning is going nowhere, she shifts toward the different topic.
Miss Recoleta, you've gone to great lengths to get into the Panopticon. Would you mind telling us why?
Thank you, Burton, for asking the very question that I've been wanting to say. Why the hell would you want to sneak in here? For what purpose?
Finally! I've been waiting for you to ask.
You're serious?
I'm here to find my pen pal in Comala.
Okay.
You have a pen pal? In here?
Yes. 6 months ago, I went to a book exhibition in Guadalajara and came across the contact details of a few writers. I sent them my novel and asked for feedback. Looking back, it was a bit forward, but nothing unheard of between writers. A lot of friendships start through letters, you see.
That is true.
And Aleph wrote back.
Aleph. It's gotta be that dude with the saw. The mask, too. Recoleta produces a thick stack of letters from her coat. The recipient's address changes with each letter, reflecting the turbulent lifestyle of the wandering writer. Yet the sender's address is eternally constant. Comala.
And how much do you know about this pen pal of yours?
Oh, well, he calls himself Aleph, which is a grammatically masculine word, so...
So you assume Aleph is a man?
A reasonable suspicion. But in her experience, never is a certainty.
Yes, he's probably a poet, a writer, perhaps even an alchemist. He's one of the brightest people I know. There's never been a question that he couldn't answer. I've asked him about religion, politics, history, potions, even critters in length and breadth. Can you imagine someone who knows all those things and so extensively too? And he helped me with my novel. He always seems to know the best ways to bring my characters to life. Honestly, he's so insightful. I've begun wondering if he's omniscient. With his help, my story grew richer and fuller, like a well-tended plant. Strangely, can't seem to take it any further now. It's as if the roots have been sapped of their strength. I couldn't understand why. So, I resolved that I would see him in person to find out.
Again with this story about your uncanny pen pal? I've already told you 1,000 times. It's all very moving, but it still doesn't justify your actions. Writers experience mental blocks all the time. Yet you don't see them trying to break into a prison oven.
She ain't wrong.
She does have a point.
Exactly.
Please, Burden, jailer, have a little mercy, will you?
No! Go back home! Be sane! Sorry. I just do not understand why would she want to bring him to prison. Just not only spend the night here, but fighting a writer.
Hold on. I've been meaning to ask. Why are you only calling her jailer? Don't you know her name? Or do you just prefer addressing people by their occupation?
I would assume the latter.
Oh, about that.
Unexpectedly, it is the Jaguar herself that speaks up.
It's okay, Miss Verta. I don't mind being called by my job title. I take pride in what I do.
But I'm more curious about your name.
I'm perfectly fine with just being the jailer.
Exactly. A researcher is a researcher, and a jailer is a jailer. Titles and code names often tell us more about people than their ordinary given names, don't you think? Take Sonetto, for example. Your name comes from sonnets, doesn't it? That great poetic form from Italy. Some people mistakenly think Shakespeare invented it. Some say it was Petrarca, though no one really knows when the first sonnet was written. Sorry, I'm straying from my point. You're Italian, aren't you, Sonetto? Is that your real name, or just a code name? Were your parents poets?
As much as I'd like to be able to answer your question, I never knew my parents. My earliest memories were of the School of Primary Defense of Mankind. I've lived there since I was a small child.
My apologies. That was thoughtless of me.
Exactly.
It's fine. You meant no ill intent, I'm sure.
Just over curiosity.
Timekeeper, if Miss Recoleta was right about Dr. Doris' whereabouts, perhaps the jailer is keeping things from us. Or perhaps Dr. Doris visited the Panopticon without her knowledge. Either way, we need to do some digging here.
I agree. Let's see if we can talk to some of the inmates and find out what they know.
As they chat, the corridors until now endless reach a terminal point, with voices echoing ahead.
Ladies, we're about to enter the main hall of the Panopticon. This is one of the places where the inmates spend their recreation time. At this hour, they are supposed to be in their cells. But what's all that noise?
The jailer seems to be tense with the apparently unusual amount of noise.
Miss Verton, could you keep an eye on Recoleta if anything happens?
I hope. Recoleta tries her best to avoid the hard stare of the feline jailer by blending into the Foundation team.
Certainly.
What do you take me for? I'm not going to run away.
You're more of a rebel that's curious.
That'd be a pretty cheesy way to start a story.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting a headache.
Please, just stay close to me.
I see more drawings. I just realized there's drawings. Alright, I got more things to do here. Alright. Whoa, that's new for me. And let's go with the start first. So, there's the Weaving of Shadows Volume 1 and To the Pen Pal I Never Met. Yeah, To the Pen Pal I Never Met. Aleph, my dear pen pal, enclosed is the latest revision of my novel. In your last letter, you suggested the role of a bank clerk, marking Amalfitano with the stamp of the capitalist production model. An excellent idea. In this revision, I have incorporated some of my own thoughts as well. That is everything about my novel that I was impatient to share with you. Perhaps you won't mind me discussing something else. Throughout my creative journey, your encouragement and validation have been my greatest comfort when facing the countless closed doors of publishers. The long, futile efforts of feel insignificant in the face of your understanding. Oh, my dear pen pal, I say this sincerely. Though I suppose such explanations are unnecessary, perhaps. I do not need to waste more ink describing just how much your letters mean to me. So I ask, with both sincerity and trepidation, may we speak in person about the dead, the desert, fate, the ending that troubles me so much, and the tides of imagination and insight that carry us both. Recoleta. So this is his, I guess this is a, his version, or his reply. Recoleta. At the poetry gathering at Santa Fe de Bogotas. I hope I pronounced this right. Please, help me out here. Open Air Theater, Colombia. Miss Recoleta, as I have mentioned several times in my letters, and as you may have already surmised, I reside in a prison. This is why I never met my pen pals in person. Due to its remote location and cold climate, Ushuaia is not a place people readily visit. People would rather sip a hot drink in one of Buenos Aires' century-old cafes than travel to such a distance. Finally, I still wish you the best on your creative path. Aleph, at the Comala Prison in Ushuaia. Alright, so what is this one here? Darkness has no form, the ever-shifting gaze seeps into every crevice. Another minigame, perhaps, or a mini-story. Wow. Oh, looks like we got a new arrival. It's pitch black in here. Can't be sure she's new just yet. Hey there. Welcome to Los Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas. I hope I say. I'm guessing the Society of Poets of the Americas. I think. Or maybe she's one of those who broke out and came back on her own accord. Sorry, I'm a little tongue twisted here for today. Keep it quiet, huh? I get it. This must be a sacred moment for you. A return to the darkness. Ooh. It is pitch black.
La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas?
Are we seeing things in her point of view? This is Dores! Okay, so she was here. The texture she felt on her way here does not match the words she just heard. Guided by her keen hearing, she pauses mid-step in what seems to be a reasonably open space. I'm not sure if this is a depiction of what those who are blind could sense. Maybe. The room falls into silence like the longest minute in human history. Are you still there? A faint cough, a heave of a sigh in the darkness. Pardon me, but have we met before? This is my first time in this prison, as far as I can recall. What a strange thing to say. Prison? When was the last time we heard someone say that? Back when the narrator was published. Wait, you aren't some ancient ghost here in the pursuit of realism, are you? There is a theatrical flair in her voice. Rusty gates, pitch black cells in prison, bars for exchanging letters, a peaceful and secluded place. Sociedad de Poetas. And no, we do not know you. The three of them are spread just far enough apart to barely make out each other's faces in the dark. Okay. I'm liking how it's going for her point of view. What a wonderful example, Garcia. Exactly. It all depends on how you choose to see the world, my new friend. Roberta, we don't have much time. This might be the most important gathering of the month. No, maybe even a year. I'm guessing these are prisoners, because I can faintly see the chain here, and probably the, I guess you could say, straps? Leather jackets? Maybe. You're right, Garcia. At this moment, nothing is more important than the salon the idealist has all so carefully prepared. What? I don't know. Oh, I lost my mouse for a bit. You should focus on sorting out those manuscripts first.
Pardon the interruption, but might I ask?
Okay. Why your organization is called La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas? I assume it isn't simply due to geography. Don't worry, senora. We make it a point to introduce our Sociedad to every new friend, but now isn't quite the time. After the salon ends, we'll ask the jailer about your accommodations. Wait a minute, Roberta. Your eyes are well adjusted to the dark. Use them. She's neither a newcomer nor a returnee. She's a blind woman. Ah, please forgive Garcia's rudeness, senora. A sensory limitation can sometimes bring sharper intuition. In that colorful world of the mind, I'm sure what you see is even more beautiful than reality. But if you weren't brought in by the physician, then why are you here? Good question. A very good question. She tries to construct a fiction in her mind, something that could justify the surreal nature of whatever I could have read. Her arrival. Okay. Her arrival. From the humid trade winds of Sao Paulo to the crashing surf of the cliffs. Now, this strange land greets me for the first time with nothing but a cold silence. Miss... You were here too? Really? Miss Erd is to be placed in Ushuaia's Comala Prison. She is not to be treated as an ordinary inmate. In the words of the preacher, you are our honored guest, Miss Erd.
I've come to learn the name of this land. Ushuaia.
From that young lady's retelling, it lies at the southernmost tip of the vast continent of South America.
As we walked, I could feel her gaze upon me. Steady, yet never intrusive.
I could tell she meant me no harm. I have informed the administrator of Comala Prison of your identity and special circumstances. He will assure your safety. So the prison is under the pockets of the Manus Vindictae. Why? What are they planning on doing in there, though? Good luck and farewell.
I sensed I had been brought to a place most unusual. A building with a quiet peculiarity in the air.
Two attendants followed close behind me, some form of liquid dripping from their faces.
I suppose I must claim a little freedom for myself in this place.
I thought the darkness was a blessing. It wasn't too difficult to shake them off.
I'm sorry for your undue trouble, my diligent friends.
Wow, okay. I'm a writer, and I mostly write under the name Erd. I'm here to I'm here
for a short visit, hoping to find some inspiration for my next story.
What? See, Garcia, this lady is a writer, a good soul. You almost made us miss out on meeting a kindred spirit. Wait a minute. I was reading this part, and she just interrupted. I'm here for a short visit. Hang on.
I'm sorry for your undue trouble.
Oh,
my diligent.
Okay, I can't replay that because I don't know if any of the dialogues just suddenly interrupt me. Come, come. I'm sure you'll fall in love with our salon. Or saloon. This has nothing to do with me. It's dark in here. But I suppose you've already grown used to walking in the dark. Sorry, I mean no offense. Ooh. Okay, that was quick. I'm thinking that we're gonna meet them in later chapters, maybe. Wait a minute, there's more down here. Yeah. Wait. Huh? Oh wait, never mind. Am I missing something here? My curiosity is gonna kill me. I just want to know what these are. All right, let's discuss. Historically, the town of Ushuaia originally was home to just 400 people, until 1,100 convicts were exiled here. It's not hard to see why. After all, this little town has a chill to it that pierces the bone. Even the rain feels unapologetic and bleak. Those exiles soon became essential for the town. They cut the lumber, built the generators, and survived the harsh winters alongside the townspeople. Some stayed after their release, and with time, the town prospered. A town so deeply intertwined with the stories of exile and imprisonment. Don't you think that gives it a certain mysterious, intricate, unspoken charm? In the cold and silence of the polar night, a pair of warm hands can warm not just your body, but also your heart. Even if those hands belong to a death row convict exiled here? Of course, even if they belong to a waddling penguin, they would still be the hands of a friend. Over the years, we could even end up in like family. Sorry. Indeed, I think I understand how the residents and prisoners integrated. Surviving in the harsh climate of polar regions like this isn't easy. Prisoners couldn't make it alone. The harsh nature of their surroundings taught them a simple truth. No person survives on their own. Such a poetic wording, Sonetto. You really ought to try your hand at poetry. It is an act of outpouring one's feelings and taking a journey through one's own mind. A journey through your mind. Thanks for the suggestion. Perhaps I'll consider giving it a try in the future. If there is a future. Alright. Then we got another one. National Forecult Studies Association. The National Forecult Studies Association was founded by scholars, alongside the junta, and to support the studies of Foucault's theories and further exploration of social structures. Thus, a regular column was established in this publication, where contributions from all perspectives are welcome and encouraged. I did not mean to double-click. I'm not sure if I double-clicked. This newspaper is about as old as I am, yet you somehow managed to find a copy. Yes, the Panopticon of Comala was founded by the National Foccult Studies Association as a site for experimental psychoanalysis. Hiccups. There we go. I've read about it. A single watcher could observe all prisoners, and since the prisoners never knew if they were being watched or not, the surveillance system infiltrated every detail of their lives. It is smart, isn't it? The actual surveillance remains unseen, yet the prisoners nonetheless end up trapped in a closed, fragmented structure. Oh, those were my pen pal's words. He also said it was a significant experiment for the government at the time. But in that era, Foucault's psychoanalysis seemed more like a means to an end. Huh? Wait, so if I'd been born in a few decades earlier, would I have needed to try so hard to get into this prison? Wouldn't I am never going to pronounce that name, gendarmes, have locked me up just for writing or speaking out? I may not always understand you, but I sincerely hope you are joking now. Back then, people faced more than just imprisonment. There were disappearances, torture, and many deaths. Alright, I apologize. That was probably a bit inappropriate for a joke. I admit. Please relax, Sonetto. That's cute. That is cute. Okay, so on to part 5, a Latin American fable. But look at this here. Now we're seeing a bit of it here. Now I know this list has, the floor has got some pools here too. Some water here. Like, this is supposed to be a pool or something, and look at the inside here. I think the center is supposed to be like the office of the wardens, I believe. But what's but the operating table and the other? I think that's medical bay here. But look at the gathering here. I'm guessing this must be the gathering, and where that place is going to take place, though. Yeah. Hall of the New Encounters. Look at that place. Ooh.
I didn't expect any of this from what we saw outside.
Yeah, I didn't expect that there's a pool here as well. The mottled yet pristine walls, the still waters, the silent white tower standing within the labyrinth. Nearby, several prisoners form a circle, some standing, some sitting, engaged in conversation.
Oh, excuse me for a moment. I have duties that I must attend.
With a sigh, the jailer steps into the gathering, causing a strangely subdued reaction from the prisoners.
They don't seem intimidated by her at all.
Yeah. They just look like a bunch of artists having a chat in the garden. And the jailer seems to be like a grumpy neighbor coming over to ask them to keep it down.
The grumpy neighbor continues her chastising.
Everyone, you know the rules. There are to be no after-hours gatherings here without the physician's approval.
You sound softer and softer each time you come to warn us. Why not just join us? Isn't it better than circling around the Panopticon all day? And look around you. We're in the Hall of New Encounters. What better place to host a salon?
You're missing out in Comala if you don't even get a taste of our literature.
Exactly. Even those oil-dripping musicians drop by from time to time. Not that they're the kind to care about the beauty of words.
Oil-dripping musicians? Timekeeper, could they mean...
Before the jailer can say anything else, two of the prisoners simultaneously gesture for her to stay silent, pointing to the center of their gathering.
Quiet now, please. The Edile Salon is about to start.
What the... Hang on. I saw something like that his words were glitching. What was happening?
These people seem friendly enough. Why don't we see what this is about?
Yeah, it was faint. Yeah. No, I don't think I could see it from that log here, but I could definitely see a faint glitching on his dialogue. All right, let's see what this is.
En desiertos, en estrellas, dentro de laberintos.
En aguas, en espejos, dentro de reflejos.
Soñamos sobre la almohada de paja de la muerte.
Aquí estamos, rendiendo homenaje a los fantasmas.
Para rendirlo todo otra vez. Para rendirlo todo otra vez.
My dear friends, we face a difficult truth. The movement of visceral realism still stumbles in the dark.
I am sorry. I'm just laughing at the fact that his entire head is covered in paper. There's a bit of blood.
Our poems, our language, our minds are tangled by a stifling vine. A mundane, stale vision shared among all bourgeoisie.
Keep in mind, it is louder than what they're saying for me, because I put this volume on 85 and the rest on 70, and it's still loud as hell for me. I apologize if my voice or his voice does not reach your ears. Look at this outfit. He's riding on his own clothing.
We follow this vision blindly, clinging to the comfort brought by logic and conventional wisdom. And by it, we nip every branch of new art in the bud.
Are they dancing around him?
Poems are perhaps too fragile an outgrowth to develop one's life upon. But here, we may light them like candles at our funerals. Let poetry become the bridge between us and the world.
That could have been a good thumbnail, but I couldn't stop it. A lone clap breaks the silence. It comes earlier than all the other cheers from the audience.
As we come back and forth over the boundaries of life and death,
Why?
the old obstacles begin to take on a new look. With the eyes of poets, we may see behind them. You're a visceral realist.
And the game's lagging. I apologize.
I can't be mistaken. You must be...
You're not Aleph. He's not Aleph. I think he's... The idealist's eyes pierce through the grove of literary enthusiasts, reaching a distant, drifting new world.
A lonely cowboy, finally home.
Wait. Is he Aleph? I'm not sure if he is.
What a wonder. You're in time. The salon has just begun. And La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas isn't like those salons that care more about who's invited than the art. All are welcome here.
A literary salon in a prison? Though, so far it seems to have more dancing than poems.
I figured that.
Did you understand what that man just said?
No.
No. Sorry, Timekeeper. I need a moment to think it through.
Don't worry, Sonato. I would guess we're not the only ones who are confused here. Miss Jailer, is this that peculiarity about Comala you mentioned earlier?
Enough, idealist. You're still an inmate here, and you are walking a very fine line right now.
Oh, I'm quite aware of where I am and what lines I tread. This is a prison. The safest place for poets in this part of the continent. One cannot be arrested twice, after all.
Why would anyone think this would be a safe place? But I can understand. I mean, I am about to play another horror game that involves prison. The man's words draw laughter from the other prisoners as they turn to discuss the speech with excitement.
But please, don't trouble yourself with our little farce. What harm could a few poets possibly do?
You have no idea. Poems can influence people. I have no idea. Maybe it could. All the irregular rhymes and wild contradictions of aesthetics converge into a chaotic countercurrent, crashing against the newcomers. Recoleta clenches her fist in shock, certain that the man before her is her mysterious pen pal.
Senor Idealist, might I ask you something?
Hold on, Recoleta. All forms of communication with the inmates must conform to our regulations. We will need to record the conversation and submit it to higher authorities for review.
I have some questions for the gentleman as well. But we're more than willing to follow the rules. I think the person I'm looking for might have attended this literary salon. Or at least talked to some of its members. I'd wager she's spoken to that gentleman. That is, if she has been here at all.
I see. Go ahead then. Just watch the time.
As the visitors petition the jailer, Recoleta pushes past the bustling crowd and takes a deep breath.
Are you Aleph?
The noisy atmosphere plunges into silence, just like the still waters nearby. The idealist is evidently taken aback by the name.
Oh.
What?
Another visitor looking for Aleph.
I'm not sure why the game is literally just cutting off the audio. I've been having problems since the update about that. I don't know why.
So you know him?
Naturally. But I'm not obliged to speak of him to one who does not, stranger.
The salon host is non-committal, turning toward Recoleta's companions.
And you, young lady in the hat, are you here for Aleph as well? What a lively day this is.
No, I'm looking for a blind woman. Her name is Dores.
Ah, yes, I remember. Her writing was impeccable, like an exquisite crocodile skin handbag in a shop window. Elegant, yet condescending.
Do you know where she is now?
I'm not able to keep track of every inmate here, miss. Perhaps you should ask those who have seen everything from above, through the glass, where the scrutinizing eyes of power look down on us.
Eyes?
Maybe the top of the tower. That's what I'm thinking. She scans the prison hall. The walls, the great tower, and the pool remain unchanged. Nothing appears amiss. Why is there a pool here? All the prisoners present nod in agreement, prompting a weary sigh from the jailer.
Have you taken your medicine today, idealist?
I'm feeling marvelous. Today I require no help from them.
I've warned you. It's unwise to act against the physician's orders.
Act against him? No one may act against him here. The physician must have misunderstood us. I suspect he doesn't understand half of what we say. I'd like to know how he got his medical degree. Not by cracking open skulls, I should hope.
The prisoners exchange knowing smiles.
What a pity, jailer. You know, I've always believed you had the soul of a poet, just like us.
I'm assuming you're joking.
We've already spoken enough rebellious thoughts outside of Comala. How else do you think we ended up in your nut house?
Yeah, look at that. You see this, right? There is a glitch in the words here. What is going on with the words here? I see faint glitches, maybe. Not sure if it's intentional or something is wrong.
We have been here far too long. Long after the junta was removed from office. After our home became a deserted wasteland in the aftermath of the Latin American boom.
What are you getting at?
That power is boring, meaningless. Nothing holds on to power forever. And the one true connection we have to life is poetry.
See, jailer? Even an outsider understands our ideas better than you. It's time to open your eyes to reality. La Sociedad is the only way for us to feel truly alive in here, beneath the gaze of those prying, ever-vigilant eyes.
Idealist, last warning. Stop this now.
Oh, she angry. Yeah, don't piss off the tiger. I mean, leopard.
Fine.
Like jaguar.
All right, compañeros. Sadly, the salon must come to an end, as our jailer insists.
The crowd murmurs and grumbles as they begin to disperse.
Dear friends, I do not mean to abuse the power of suspense. I sincerely invite you to come with me to the heart of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas. Perhaps you'll find the person you look for there.
The man strikes a gesture somehow equally comedic and solemn.
We'd love to. Only if that's okay with you, Miss Jailer.
I suppose that's all right. You're already here. We can call it part of your tour, but please, ladies, take none of their ramblings seriously.
Thank you, jailer. Please, follow me.
Cults.
Come together to conquer this great weight.
What? The road ahead is unknown. Choose the right direction and the path will reveal itself. Oh, wait, no, it's...
This isn't the way to the gallery.
It isn't the usual way. It's a shortcut. We call it the reptilian complex and primal hunger route. Much faster than the limbic system and postmodern anxiety route, let me tell you.
But this passageway has long been abandoned, and entry is prohibited. It's extremely dangerous too.
Relax, jailer. No one, not even you, knows this prison better than us.
But, Timekeeper, I think we've just gone in a circle.
I'm sorry. It feels like I'm doing something from a previous chapter. I'm picking a pathway here. Left, right, or ahead? Hate it.
Finally, my turn, huh?
Oh well.
Experience
I'm honestly not
knowledge.
sure.
Perfectly understood.
Handy little flyers.
Keep up the pace.
Flee, mortals!
Do I have to hit it? You know, show us?
I never get tired. Finally.
Maybe?
Just a gentle blow.
Yes.
As long as you hit the target.
Please, allow me.
Maybe it was ahead? I'm not sure. Oh. Oh, come on. Maybe it's just ahead? I don't know, to be honest. In all honesty, I really don't know.
I never get tired of...
Perfectly understood.
Handy little flyers.
I'm just confused. Maybe we'll go ahead again.
Time.
Finally.
Maybe?
My turn. Watch and learn, kids! What's a veteran without his gun?
The sparkling of the sea, the shimmering of scales, there is always a light to follow.
I'm strangely confused what I should have done.
Dreams.
Okay, maybe it's not ahead, but I think it might have been to the right there.
Perfectly understood.
I never get tired of this one.
Dark and grace.
Yeah, right is right. So it's just...
And now to return to my long-term mission. Rest.
So it was just forward, then left, then right. Weird combination. I didn't like that at all. Alright. What is this again? Alright. That and this. Alright.
Let's take a step back. Pull you out of that whirlwind of passion and dreams. If you want to make the best call, you need to zero in on what really matters. So what's your take on that big speech?
The Latin American boom.
A sudden explosion that shook Latin American literary circles about 30 years ago. It was destructive, but also gave rise to new life. And lucky for us, we don't have to worry about shell shock in the literary world.
Alright, you don't strike me as someone who knows about literature.
It's not about knowing literature. Any soldier with little experience can deliver a status report. Alright, eyes on the map. As we speak, ships are lined up on the Spanish coast. But this time, they're poised to make a new kind of discovery. If you can call it that. And here are our new Columbuses, heading to the docks to embark on their journey.
So who are these new Columbuses?
Carmen and Carlos, the driving force behind this literary feast between Spain and Latin America. Carmen, with an eye for opportunity and a mind for business, sought out the continent's literary gems and secured generous publishing deals for them. Carlos, with his deep understanding of market dynamics, brought these works to the eyes of the European public.
So what happened then?
Then, a golden era began. It all kicked off with a scandal at a military academy. And soon, the entire world was captivated by the story of a baby with a pig's tail from a faraway land. But we mustn't forget the writers themselves. Fuentes, a towering figure of the Spanish-speaking world, and Cortázar, the writer ever seeing through the eyes of a child. And of course, Mario and Gabo, key players in this literary revolution, will forever be etched in the annals of history. They corresponded regularly, always expressing deep admiration for each other's work. In fact, one even wrote a doctoral thesis on the other. Ah, friendship.
That must have been a proud time for them.
It was. But no matter how explosive the boom was, it couldn't escape its fleeting nature. With the second imprisonment and self-criticism of a Cuban poet, in came an inexplicable right hook, and bang! Silence. The military junta had gripped the poets' throats. The verse of the pioneers was cut off. Their voices no longer heard. The bond between two generations was broken, and for the younger of the two, the silence was intolerable. They looked for a new theme, a new idea, a new voice, a new method to speak on their disappointment, their horror, and their anger. And they became the new guerrillas.
Alright, so El Sur también existe. That's how I pronounce it. I'm gonna have to figure that out. So let us go ahead and review the Weaving the Shadows Volume 2. I am assuming this is gonna be another one of Dores' stories. Yeah. I read in an article once that you Chileans don't like Baroque literature, or is it Baroque literature? Something about it being too noisy. You sure are a quiet bunch. Is that so? And you Argentinians just love it, right? If you're any metric to go by, I'd say you're all loud and obnoxious. You, just because the idealist isn't here, you think you can turn this salon into a debate hall? You started it. Enough. Stop squabbling and post your work so we can read it. If you ask me, you're simply more interested in rhythm than form. Spanish is a rich language, one that is inherently expressive, ever-changing, and artistic, much like Baroque literature. The typically quiet man's words douse the argument like a cold splash of water, sending the group into a rare moment of calm. Haha, so that's what you look like in color, okay. All jokes aside, I do miss them. Ever since those mad members left La Sociedad, we've had far fewer breakthroughs in stream of consciousness writing. And I, for one, would gladly discuss the aesthetic value of stream of consciousness composition. Ugh. As the new topic surfaces, the inmates' voices begin to rise once again. It was a most unusual literary salon, full of emotionally charged statements and biased opinions. But I didn't mind it. In fact, my feeling was quite the opposite. The inmates give me an incredible feeling. Not one of them saw themselves as a prisoner stripped of their freedom. A group of literature enthusiasts coming together in an abandoned prison and collaborating to build an ideal nation. It felt as though it was the result of some kind of pact, but in reality, it was clearly a government-run prison. Everyone, quiet down. I have something to announce. An unfamiliar voice cuts off the clacking typewriter in Dores' mind. The woman walks out from the far end of the darkness and steps into the center of the salon. Or is it saloon? Stopping before the white board and podium.
Mr. Idealist entrusted me with hosting the literature salon.
He left a letter under a stone in the corner stating that he had a personal matter to attend to. I'm assuming this is after the Idealist's assassination from the trailer. We haven't gotten to the actual part yet, but it looks like her name is Octavia. For this session, I will now announce our next research topic.
Fiction's duality in reflecting reality and the self.
Heavy gasps, turned heads, and upward spreads through the audience. Clearly, this wasn't the topic they were expecting. She raises the letter in her hand in a gesture for silence.
Like-minded fellows, aspiring writers.
I was gonna drink my water, but since the turn of the century, the names that once shook the literary world have gradually faded into obscurity.
Literature's been shoved aside in the world of art.
People attend theaters, cinemas, and even art galleries to enjoy paintings and sculptures, but few can finish a book.
What is left for us to do?
When families are torn apart and our nations are ravaged by tyranny.
Let stories be our weapon. They should be the sword that cuts through the bloody truth, the beacon that lights our way forward.
The audience falls into silence. You could try writing a Latin American War and Peace, and we could continue with our original saloon topic. The two aren't mutually exclusive. I've spent the whole month preparing for the topic the Idealist previously proposed. If you insist on changing this subject, then I'm afraid I'll have to take my leave. Miss Octavia, forgive me for interrupting, but this isn't the topic we agreed on. Everything you've said, we just can't do that. We haven't even figured out things for ourselves yet. Octavia, it's an interesting topic, it is, but perhaps we could talk about it in another time. Besides, don't forget the reason you're in here in the first place. For preaching that novel is a weapon. Yeah, if it weren't for your rich daddy, you'd be on the gallows, not standing here preaching to us.
Hey!
Another prisoner stands, his voice is clear. You've completely missed Miss Octavia's point. A great writer should be like an obsessive gravedigger, digging up the rotting flesh of social realism from the grave of our times. Only this vast crucible is worthy to be the host of our literature. That time, Mr. Garcia looked visibly resistant as Mr. Julio issued stern reminders and Ms. Rivera attempted to mediate. More and more members joined the debate, and voices both for and against Ms. Octavia's proposal emerged. It didn't take long for La Sociedad to split into two camps. That was when I realized I needed to do something to get this derailed, literally salon back on the tracks.
I'm a writer.
Please
and
allow.
I mostly write under the name Erd.
Okay, please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Dores from Sao Paulo, and she said the rest before I could read it.
Erd?
That name sounds familiar.
Have you written for Atu? Are you the Erd in Atu?
Wow, I never imagined we'd be welcoming such an honored guest today. I thoroughly enjoyed your piece titled The Tin Soldiers of Sao Paulo.
It's an important part of my visit to hear all the ideas and opinions, if you'll pardon my intrusion.
Then tell me, Miss Erd, what are your thoughts on today's salon topic? A difficult question, one involving preference, a creative stance, and a political alignment. A scale that is never easily balanced. However, the answer has never been the most important part of such questions.
In these restless times, literature has been overlooked, forgotten, pushed to the edges of the world, much like Ushuaia.
Some fall into deep thought, others nod in agreement. And I yawned. I'm sorry. And a few looked puzzled. The audience is largely unaware that the topic has already shifted. To most, this prison at the end of the world is a distant, cold place, perhaps even a place of hopelessness. When a prisoner is first sent here, I cannot help but imagine that the first thing they feel is a stagnant pool of water and a calm, quiet despair. She seizes this chance to guide the literary salon back from the muddy trenches of ideology. She recalls the days of typing while looking out over the river, boats, and palm trees. Words are honest. They have no capacity to lie. I came here to gather material for my next book. I plan to record everything I experience in this place, faithfully. And what kind of work are you planning to write? A non-fiction piece, I presume? About Comala Prison? Its theme is fate. There it goes again. Shadows of the Living. That's our next chapter, and it looks like we are probably in another cell speaking with whoever these people are, and I don't know who. So let's go ahead and...
La investigadora se despierta en su cueva en la duna, que le parecía tan vacía como una tumba. Era poco antes del amanecer. Montones de cintas habían ocupado su espacio vital, apilándose una y otra vez. Cada uno de estos carretes giratorios hablaba de historias sobre esa cabaña con techo azul.
Whoa.
Oyó la voz del asesinado conductor de burros detrás de ella. Oigo a todos ellos, las risas y las voces de generaciones pasadas, como hojas secas atrapadas en las grietas de viejas paredes, crujiendo solo cuando el viento sopla otra vez. No pondría un pie en esa casa si fuera tú. El mendigo al lado de la puerta también habló. Duermo en el porche cada noche. Cada mañana una luz tenue brilla a través de la ventana, pero nadie sale nunca por esa puerta, y nadie ha entrado nunca. Luego la voz del empleado del banco. Es la historia del alter ego. Esa casa debe haber estado llena de deudas que nadie reclamaría.
Okay.
La anciana enferma, luchando en su cama, susurró. La casa recuerda esos días, cuando la gente desaparecía en la oscuridad de la noche y los niños eran robados por las tormentas. La investigadora de paracausalidad Había oído suficiente y volvió a dormirse. Solo quedaba el traqueteo del dado de Babilonia, resonando en su cueva vacía.
So this must be her novel. I'm understanding this. In a deteriorating activity hall, thousands of floating slips of paper form a blurred, colossal face. It is hard to imagine how the prisoners managed to transform this place into what it is now. What part? Okay, now I'm starting to see the face here. So here's what I'm thinking here. That little segment with the typewriter, is it probably Recoleta writing a piece of her novel? I'm thinking probably bits and pieces of her novel will form every time we go through each, or sometimes we just go progress the chapter.
I've always wanted to use the element of fantasy to better establish our theme. And I was right.
Okay, so this is what Garcia looks like here. Okay.
Now the stage is captivating, the timing is perfect, and the audience is ideally placed. Only one imperfect element remains in the scene. The creator, who hasn't stepped away from his creation. No. There's another thing.
Garcia, the curator of the exhibition, stands beneath his work, deep in thought, agonizing over every minute imperfection. His fellow poets whisper to one another.
Can you even tell any difference between today's setup and yesterday's?
Okay, so that's what they both sound like, okay.
Seriously, Roberta? That's a rude question.
What? Wait. Diggers? Wait, you're not really here, aren't you, Diggers? That's his costume. Couldn't they do a better job? Instead of using another character's appearance?
Well, what's the difference then?
I can't see one either, but you should never judge art by how much it changes in a day. It's a creative process.
It almost sounds similar to him.
We might be standing at the edge of the world, but art has no boundaries. We have to show him our support.
Easy for you to say. He's been tinkering and tweaking for over 3 months. Even if the idealist himself entrusted him with this exhibition, he can still be wrong sometimes. This gallery is turning into a dump.
Estoy viendo fantasmas, todos con las mismas caras, Garcia. Demasiados. Es fácil perderse en ellos.
Okay, so the occupants of the prison are artists, poets, and they've turned the prison into an art exhibition, a gallery, a museum of creativity. Kind of explains why there's beach balls or paper or whatever. Having navigated through the labyrinth, the idealist, the leader of La Sociedad, arrives at the exhibit's entrance, accompanied by several new faces and the jailer.
Idealist, you're back? Are these new recruits for La Sociedad? You must have had a very successful day.
It is good to see you, Garcia. How has your vision progressed today?
First a salon, and now an art gallery. Is this really a prison?
That is my question. You just took the words out of my mouth. I'm astonished. Her shock is evident on her face, but her words are ignored as Garcia begins to vent his frustrations.
As you can see, I've strived to push the element of fantasy in my work so that it might reach perfection. But why doesn't it look like what I imagine? It's like I'm trying to work on a shadow. Some shapeless thing that morphs and shifts by the hour. Idealist, am I losing it again? I took my medicine as instructed.
It was never the pills that blinded you, my dear Garcia. You mustn't let tedious routine stifle what's truly alive. Remember, like those old poems, your exhibition must have a timeless rhythm that's never lost to the changing of minds.
Garcia holds out his hands as if grasping something fleeting, but fails to hold on to it.
Sorry, maybe I'm just not getting it.
Look out. There's your answer. Though the sun rises the same way every day, the multitudes of shadows it casts are ever changing. Isn't that the only constant in life? We foolishly pursue stability and constancy, but our very world denies it. Take a step back. Take several, and see the truth for yourself, lest you too become lost among the shifting shadows.
Give me a second that I... Alright. Okay, he said...
Isn't that the only constant in life? Change?
Yeah, I kind of skipped that one because I'm not sure what happened. I just accidentally clicked my mouse. I don't know why.
I get it now. It's the changing light that makes the exhibit seem different from what I expected. I shouldn't waste my time on freezing things in one perfect moment. Instead, I need to embrace change as it comes. I don't know how to thank you. I won't let you down. I must complete this exhibition. Complete my alter ego.
The choice of word widens the writer's eyes.
Did you say alter ego? And he called you Garcia. Is that your name? Garcia, where did you learn about this alter ego? Do you happen to write under the name...
Is she going to assume that every dude is going to be Aleph? But the curator has already returned to his work, uninterested or oblivious to his visitors.
Please, Recoleta, give our artist some space. Can't you see? He's already returned to his own time and space. He can't hear a thing you say.
Yeah, let the man cook.
He's right. Garcia is deep in his own head now. He won't hear a thing until he's done with whatever he has to do. Even if the floor were to collapse out under us, I think he will be left standing in the air without even noticing.
Pardon me then.
She takes a step back out of respect.
All right, my dear guests. Please forgive my late introduction. Welcome to the Gallery of Bewilderment.
There it is again. The glitching. Gallery of Bewilderment. I'm writing this down because there are some words, keywords, that are shifting or anything. I'm thinking whatever the glitches are right here is changing the words a bit. Maybe. Gallery of Bewilderment, but yeah. Keep in mind, guys, it's glitching. Something's going on here. I know that for sure. If you know about the trailer, fantasy reality, that's the theme of it.
Thank you for inviting me here, Mr. Idealist.
But then again, I'm not sure what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just pointing that out. That I'm starting to see some words that are glitching. Intentional or just a bug? The Foundation's investigators have been carefully observing each prisoner's movements since they arrived. But unfortunately, there's no sign of Miss Dores.
I imagine you're curious about what we do here, in the heart of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas.
I'm honestly am a bit curious.
We're putting together a magazine, a collection of poems from Comala, our very own Casa de las Americas.
Casa de las Americas?
Huh? The idealist nods with a smile.
Exactly. Named after its great predecessor. You're a fine mind indeed. At this very moment, all our compañeros are working on it. Garcia's exhibition, Alter Ego, is centered around the birth of this magazine. And here, you can see the signatures from all the poets involved, along with a few words they've written for it. Reading it is like looking into the soul of our society.
All these signatures.
Soneto steps forward to examine the perplexing artwork. In the dim lighting, the enormous face appears to be looming watchfully over the entire room. A floating slip of paper catches her attention.
Timekeeper, here! It's Dr. Dores' pseudonym, Erd.
Then she was here.
Soneto pockets the slip of paper dutifully. I'm guessing it's going to trigger the guy.
Precisely. She used to be one of us, and still is, if I may correct myself. You can ask around here. Maybe some of our members know where she went. Don't we all miss the familiar faces of old friends? I'm sure they'll do everything they can to help you find yours.
As he finishes speaking, several enthusiastic prisoners come forward to greet the idealist.
Mr. Idealist, I finished my short story. It's called Weightlessness. It drifts around the subject like a sheep floating in space. The readers can start anywhere in the story, or read it in any order they like.
And please take a look at my piece off limits. Every word that has been forbidden is either erased or replaced with symbols. It's a one-of-a-kind jarring experience.
And I finished a new paragraph. Just wrote it today.
A prisoner wrapped in several meters of manuscript paper, like a strange sort of mummy, squeezes into the crowd.
Oh, new faces. Welcome.
Without any warning, he calmly tears the manuscript to shreds. You're kidding me. The fluttering fragments fall like trailing sparks from a fireworks show. The abrupt welcome ceremony leaves the newcomers stunned, while the natives share knowing smiles.
Idealist, did he just...
He destroyed his paperwork.
This is the writer for the prologue of our magazine.
The leader of La Sociedad, either misunderstanding or evading the question, responds with enthusiasm.
The prologue consists of a 2,000-line poem and an introduction that is written in 86 languages to avoid misinterpretation. It represents every second we spend here.
How long is a 2,000-line poem? And he is going to write it in 86 languages. Oh my god. His fingers are bleeding.
Naturally, the arrival of new members disrupts its structure, and so we must begin again from scratch.
That's a triggered tradition. You just tear apart your current work. How long has he been working on this freaking paragraph? Or the poem? And start all over. Okay, these people are insane. They're crazy.
So he just tore it all up like that because he thought we were joining?
Really? That's gonna be a misunderstanding.
With all due respect, isn't this a little excessive?
Exactly.
Heaven knows I'm not one to judge. I've torn up plenty of writing for my novel.
Please, pay it no mind. It may not be an easy task, but he's doing his part. Destruction is hard, but more necessary than you think. Without it, we'd all be stuck in a still and stagnant pond, with all the smells that entail.
This all sounds very complicated.
When will your magazine be finished then?
Probably never.
Forgive me, but I'm not sure what a floating sheet, a jarring reading experience, and all this constant rewriting are meant to express.
The jailer, having remained silent, takes a deep breath and interrupts.
As I've said, Comala is unlike any other prison.
Miss Jailer, do you mean...
This place also serves as a research center. And the prisoners here, for all they claim, are not just poets. They are Arcanist criminals. And each one of them has been diagnosed as mentally ill.
We get that. The leader of La Sociedad remains composed, like an island in a rough sea, leaving the onlookers to question whether he is entirely mad or the sanest pert of them all.
You're quite right, Jailer. But let's not forget that mental illness is merely a deviation from the norm. And who decides the norm? You, the physician, or the ones outside these walls? We've been exiled here by the standards of our time, deprived of our roles in the outside world. So please, as we agreed before, I ask you not to interfere with the affairs of La Sociedad.
These people are visitors, not your new recruits.
But should we not hear their thoughts first?
But, hold on, connecting. Internet pool. The idealist turns toward the visitors with an urgent plea.
My friends, no one escapes the eye of power. We must resist. Stand with us. Pick up your pen and take poetry as your shield before it is too late.
Can we do a haiku instead? It's short.
Idealist, I admire your fight, but I came here with a different goal.
The leader of La Sociedad, caught in his fervor, ignores her words and carries on. Okay.
We're the last true owners of an old legend, words now only remembered as myth. We must stay on the path of literature until I find that transcendental solution. To invent an idiom that is generic, all-encompassing, yet precise. My poem will be written in this language, leaving no room for doubt or misinterpretation. How blessed is a man with infallible memory. He holds the finer details of each object within him, more vivid than anyone else. In the end, he'll have all the answers, if time allows him.
A dreamlike expression crosses his face. It briefly seems as if he has become an entirely different person, but his vision is soon interrupted.
Sweet tongue, sister, howls, hermaphrodite, tango. They put the whole city in the nut house.
Timekeeper, look over there.
Isn't that the prologue writer?
There's something off about him. Please, Timekeeper, stay away from him.
I mean, we are in a prison / research center / asylum. It's more of asylum.
What's happening?
Idealist, Pablo's having another episode.
Multiples of us. You make reality sick.
A flash of arcane energy flares up, and the jailer steps into the crowd reactively.
I could use your help, ladies.
Am I going to assume that the jailer is going to be a new character? Hopefully. Maybe. And, oh my god, look. It looks like we got Recoleta as a fixed character.
Together, to conquer this great weight.
La acumulación de laberintos.
Ooh, ultimate already. I didn't even start it. Alright, so we're trying out Recoleta here. Yeah. Let me see her real quick. So, I'm not sure what that means. Let's see. She's got an attack literally imaginary. 200% reality damage. When nominated narrative. Can cast an ultimate, consume all stacks of status. Each consumes 50%. Yeah. Target attack deals 100 reality damage. Passion drain. But the ultimate, look at this. Mass attack. A lot of reality damage. So, when she casts the ultimate, consumes all Moxie on self. For each additional Moxie is consumed, grant ultimate might. Okay. Assuming that she will grant everybody else Moxie. That's what I heard.
Idealismo, vuelos de fantasía, nuestro adversario es el tiempo.
Colorful clouds, the sign of the Xiangwei.
I must push on.
Hey, stop throwing newspapers at me.
Nobler coming.
Yeah.
Ready to set up a pot of liquor amidst the flowers. A truly villainous moment. Yeah, give them a warm welcome. Nobler coming.
I must push on.
Nice. Hey, stop throwing your literature at me.
No.
Go! In ink and flesh, no night or day. Then why not dream the time away?
Devote yourselves to one another. Bask in the sunlight.
The shower of sparks!
And there we go.
Although we come from different lands.
The frenzied prisoner is subdued. He lies convulsing in the center of the exhibit hall.
Poor soul. I'll bring him to bed. Well done, ladies. Aren't you full of surprises?
What was all that?
It seems he had a mental breakdown and lost control of his arcane skill. It appears that every line he recited carried unbridled power.
Usually, only specific lines can channel arcane energy. You can't just force the power into words or craft a poem to serve your purpose. Pablo must have a rare gift for identifying empowered lines. When he recited them all aloud, they overwhelmed him.
That's right. He's a genius who rides the tides of emotion, just like Arthur Rimbaud. We always keep a close eye on him to make sure he doesn't recite anything while reading or writing.
Roberta trades glances between the tense jailer and her visitors.
But sometimes things slip through.
You must understand how difficult it is for a poet to never taste the words on his own lips.
So then, this isn't the first time, and you're all fully aware of it. Do I understand you right? Did you just admit that you've been hiding an inmate with a dangerous condition from us? According to the safety regulations for the Panopticon of Comala, he must be sent to the physician for immediate treatment.
I wonder what kind of treatment. The jailer's command causes a dramatic shift in the room.
No, wait. We can explain. He's doing fine. We know how to help him. This was just an accident. We got distracted by the new members.
We won't be handing him over to the physician.
Do not blame us. Really, man.
No true writer would allow their mind, the most sacred palace of their thoughts, to be opened up to that cold-hearted, ignorant butcher. Even one who believes their inspiration flows from a source beyond the mere substance of a brain would refuse it.
The jailer furrows her brows and pulls out her weapon. The air tightens into an invisible thread. Alright, things are getting extremely tense now. Oh yes. Indefinitely. Alright, I think I got... Oh man, there's another one. Alright, I was hoping I could do number 7. Probably I may do so, so let's go ahead and go through this. Alright, typewriter record number P5. Even though they refuse to discuss the outside world, spending even a few days inside the prison makes clear that the reason they are here is precisely what they avoid speaking about. Ushuaia is a cold town on the tip of Argentina's southernmost territory. The polar night, the frozen sea, and the proximity to Antarctica, the endless winter, it all makes the place seem buried by time and forgotten. It possesses all the necessary qualities of a prison, making it an ideal place to send Arcanist suspects diagnosed with mental illness, a place to be forgotten. Setting aside the true definition of madness and their status as prisoners, what I see in this prison are former poets, writers, and social activists. In their era, some spoke of poetry, then disappeared from society for owning a book by Jean-Paul Sartre. Some incited grassroots rebellion against hierarchical structures, only to be exiled. They were repeatedly questioned. Why do you read these books? Why do you write these poems? They were branded thought organizers, and eventually sent here to partake in an experiment conducted under the names of Foucault and psychoanalysis, if that's how I pronounce that right. It has nearly been possible to determine whether their madness was defined by society because they resisted order, or if it was inducted through relentless electric shocks or torture. Or perhaps all these reasons are one and the same. This reason is often avoided, sanitized, or ignored, because deep down we all know how deeply it is woven into the fabric of all of our lives. At first, they said nothing, but this very act of deliberate avoidance is what truly conveyed their grief and fear. Alright, on to this one again, and another chapter of Weaving the Shadows.
Fate. Yes. It looms over us, yet each of us may hold the power to steer its course.
Just like this nation of contradictions, its fate should also be... In that case, shall we officially begin this alone? The ever-observant Roberta, noticing the tears welling in Octavia's eyes, cuts her off. Would anyone like to share a story on this topic? Whether it's a personal experience or a written tale, let's bring some life to this salon. Well, if no one has anything to say, I could always retell the story of my fateful journey across the Mexican border. Screech. A chair screeches as one man stands, all eyes fall on his face, shadowed by his heavy brow and sharp cheekbones. An unexpected twist. No one noticed him quietly sitting at the edge of the crowd until now. I spent the first half of my life as a bank clerk. One day, sitting behind the glass window, staring at the endless stacks of checks, papers, and flyers, it hit me. I was serving a life sentence. So I quit, went home, and decided to write something. My wife threw a fit at first, but when I wouldn't budge, a cold war broke out between us, and then finally she issued a unilateral eviction notice. I got drunk, punched a bastard officer who was beating a beggar in the street, and everything after that was a blur. When I came to, I was already here, a place that feels more like home than any other place ever did. The idealist gave me some water and suggested I write to Aleph. So I did. I wrote a letter and asked a question. 2 weeks later, I got a reply. Just one line. I'm still trying to figure out what it means. In this short span of life, there exists an infinitely extending staircase, and at its end lies nothing but a silent body of water. Julio, I had no idea you had such a story. Why haven't you mentioned it before?
I didn't know you've written to Aleph too.
Octavia, maybe you did choose the right topic. Young, passionate writers like you should carry the dream of changing society. Don't end up like me, waiting until this age to finally pick up a pen. Oh? The hostess, fully engrossed in the story, had almost forgotten all about the topic. Great, I suppose it's my turn then. So, here's my tale of crossing the Mexican border. For heaven's sake, spare us! I've heard at least 7 or 8 versions of that story already, not to mention the 5 short stories in your collection. 5 stories, Roberta! 5! And the only difference between them is the narrative perspective. Repetitive narrative is indeed an important topic in literary criticism. The remainder of the salon is spent in noisy chatter as the storytelling quickly spirals out of control. Only Dr. Dores quietly repeats the name to herself.
Aleph.
So this is where she knows about Aleph. Mr. Julio's past was an unexpected gold nugget. The perfect material for a biography. I'll treat it with care in my next... I'm sorry, I had to yawn and it interrupted me. In my next submission. By then, I had nearly forgotten I was still in prison. I had been swept up in the literary salon. I resolved to record all that I witnessed in this prison. As to whether the inhabitants are truly prisoners, that will be for the readers to decide. At that time, I did not ask how they found their way into this prison. Like them, I was thinking of purer things. Looking back on this journey, I now see that the tangled strands of Las Babas del Diablo had formed an interconnected web. Just as the salon gets into a full swing, a face emerges from shadows. Only the smile clearly visible. Rarely do I observe the salon from afar, taking all in its symbolic quirks and subtle metaphors. The bridge between reality and unreality, the poetry of the typical and the atypical. This is exactly how I envisioned La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas when I founded it. The new arrival catches her attention. Reality and unreality. Are you referring to the difference between non-fiction and fiction? I'm afraid I haven't quite grasped your full meaning. Ah, but you understood at least part of it, didn't you? Apologies to Leon. That alone proves we are walking in the same path, the unwavering pursuit of aesthetic truth. We are citizens of the literary kingdom, stargazers chasing the first light to reach the shores of the new world, children crying beneath the tree of pure ideals. Yet, as its founder, I sincerely invite you to join La Sociedad de las Poetas de las Americas and become one of us. Join La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas. A gentlemanly bow, an invitation that is hard to refuse. Everything here carries an air of mystery. The literary gathering, the strange architecture, the enigmatic recipient of all those letters. Trying to speak when I'm yawning is not a good idea. A rare opportunity.
I'm truly flattered by your invitation. I'd be delighted to join the Poetry Society. But might I trouble you with one question, Mr. Idealist?
You call yourself the founder, so I assume you are the idealist, yes? Ask away. Could you tell me about Aleph? And cliffhanger be cliffhangers. So passion and delirium. This will be my last thing to do today because it is late and I am very sleepy, so let's go ahead and go on with it. this.
This is a serious violation of the rules. I'll have to report this to the physician, and all of your treatments will need to be reassessed. Until a new treatment plan is in place, all members of La Sociedad are confined to their cells without any of their usual privileges.
The jailer heavily emphasizes La Sociedad, triggering a commotion among the prisoners.
This is not what we agreed to.
You gave us your word! Affairs within La Sociedad were not to be disturbed!
Please, don't do this. Please, he doesn't deserve this. No one does. We don't want to lose our friend.
The previously convulsing prisoner struggles to his feet.
Please, Senora. I swear it won't happen again. I'll take the medicine on time as instructed. I promise I won't hurt anyone.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pablo, but rules are rules.
Before you take this poor man from his friends, may I ask you something? Do you know where these inmates go after they see the physician?
My duty is to keep order here. What happens beyond these walls is not my concern.
In other words, she's in the dark.
Perhaps they've recovered from the physician's treatment and were returned to society.
The jailer's expression relaxes.
Within these walls, the only truth we know is this. No one returns from the clinic of the physician of Comala. Are you certain this treatment they received is really a cure?
Pablo is harmless. He's just a writer who has a talent for finding words and poems. That's all. Please, let him stay. We'll look after him. He can have our share of the medicine. We'll keep him in check.
But this doesn't conform to our regulations.
Still as arrogant as ever, idealist. One day, you'll get us all killed.
Okay, so this is the official moment that we meet Octavia here. A stranger enters the exhibition hall. As she arrives, the jailer exhales with relief.
Oh, it's you. I'm glad to see you here.
Who is that?
That's Octavia, one of our model inmates. She's been a great help in the past. If you're interested in prison literature, I'd suggest talking to her instead of the idealist.
What difference does it make? What's the difference?
So, she's a writer too?
Who would have thought? This place has got writers coming out of the woodwork. I thought it would be easy to find my writer friend in a prison. But what are the odds that I'd break into a place absolutely lousy with them?
She used to be in their gatherings, until she got tired of their nonsense and started her own faction.
The new arrival brings out a change in the idealist. He clicks his tongue imperceptibly.
What are you doing here, Octavia? Haven't you heard? The era of chieftains, ghosts, and plantation stories is over. Visceral realism is the future.
And has this brilliant visceral realism helped you finish any of these poems? What a waste of time. I'm not interested in your movement or arguing with you. I just walked by and happened to witness another episode of your brutal arrogance. And I'm not about to just stand aside and watch you repeat your mistakes. I'm taking Pablo to the physician. Care to lend a hand, Miss Jailer?
We agreed to mind our own business. Are you breaking our agreement? No one will be allowed to erase a word from our poems.
My head. Oh, are we fighting you then? I guess we're fighting you then. Okay. Fine enough. But I'm switching you.
Which of these darlings shall we attend to first?
Wait, we're fighting both of them?
Haven't you let your ego cause enough trouble, idealist?
Better that than siding with the devil like you.
Enough. This pointless arguing ends now.
So we're fighting both of them.
Splash in the water.
Flee, mortals!
Keep calm.
Maybe I should have brought in spiritualists instead. Let me take a look at both of you real quick. So idealists, you just have oration of ideals, for dream and for literature. Yours is for order, for life, freedom of literature. Wait, what was her name again? Okay, never mind. Alright, continue.
Loading, charging, loading. The light that illuminates all. Barrage. Aim and shoot. No, charging. Keep up the pace.
Take that, I say.
Barrage. Attack.
I'm liking the music so far.
Experience knowledge.
Shall I, master?
Devote yourself.
Look at the background there too.
Together, we are heroes.
There we go.
Although we come from different lands, we share the same dream.
Stand down, both of you.
Why is the music from chapter 6? Or is it 7? 7 playing. Wait. Was it not 7 or was it 6? I'm so confused. Their heated debate continues without any concern for the jailer's warning.
You've never listened. I pity your followers. To be led by such a reckless megalomaniac. Do you even think about the consequences of your actions? We fought hard to earn the freedom to discuss literature under their watch. Your impulsive ego threatens to destroy everything we've built here.
Spare me the lecture, Octavia. We don't need permission to do as we please. You're just another puppet of power, kneeling to the eyes behind those glass walls. They've trained you to believe it was your own decision, to be good and conform. Who could have done a better job? When I look at you, all I see is a sheep, docile and obedient, just the way the tower wants. What kind of work could someone like you create? Literature isn't defended by those lounging in cozy rooms, scribbling to soothing music.
Have you looked in a mirror, idealist? You've become a pathetic windmill-tilting fool. A monster tearing down everything around you.
A beast of prey, you mean? Naturally, a sheep would be appalled by the mere thought of such a creature. A fearful sheep caught in a vine, confusing the blade that would set it free with the jaws of a lion.
Such a master of metaphor. But I beg you, learn to distinguish right from wrong, fantasy from reality. Only then can you truly lead our people toward what's right.
Distinguish right from wrong? Don't make me laugh. Is that the limit of your vision?
You...
The impassioned leader jumps onto a nearby bench, striking a dramatic pose before the crowd. And that is definitely a good thumbnail, right here and there. Alright. He raises his arms and launches into a speech.
Friends, listen to me!
Do I have no say in this?
There is no truer home to literature than a prison!
Really? And a blast of deafening sound. All words fall from the air. And yes, guards have a right to shoot someone if they become too burly. And the moment, ideas are lost. The idealist's expression freezes. His eyes search down from a frozen face to a... Trying to read here. Red hole in the chest. An ominous shade of crimson seeps out.
No. No!
And the blood on her face. Oh my god. Next to him too? The horrified Arcanist stumbles back, screaming.
Who did this? Hands behind your head and drop to your knees. All of you, now!
Oh my god. Is this the warrior situation? Sorry. I was that moment I just remembered I watched the movie, an old movie called The Warriors. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you'll understand.
This is your last warning.
The prisoners show no reaction to the jailer's final ultimatum. They stare at the idealist, unmoving.
Idealist, you're bleeding. It's in your chest.
As his life drains away, the idealist appears unsurprised. He simply turns his gaze toward Recoleta.
You must.
Yes. Idealist?
What is going on? Unfinished words dissolve into silence as the prison itself begins to tremble. What is going on? The entire exhibition hall twists and contorts, its surroundings warping beyond comprehension, as if dissolving and expanding freely.
What's going on?
Whoa. What the? Okay, the hall is still. Time seems frozen in place until someone utters the first words.
Was he shot? Where did the bleed come from? Miss Jailer and you ladies over there, come give me a hand. We need to get him to the physician.
Her words ignite the first spark.
Did you do this, Octavia? You couldn't face the burning truth of his words, so you pierced his very heart instead. Justice was blazing with the fire of justice.
Okay, first of all, she does not have anything with her. She is a prisoner too. She's not allowed with anything. Whoever did this, I'm not sure who did this. And of course, quick blame.
Or was it you, Jailer? Did you intend to crush the voice of poetry beneath your wheel of power?
Again, it was a gunshot. She has paws, and she's a jaguar. She can't hold a gun.
It has to be one of you devils in disguise, beasts in human skin.
Or one of you lunatics.
Can't you see? I had nothing to do with this. I'm as innocent as any of you. I've been trying to keep order here, to protect everyone. And now you blame me?
Don't listen to her! The idealist made it very clear! She's trying to get us punished for her own gain! You're a murderer, Octavia!
Okay, enough. Also, look at this. There used to be water, a pool. Now it's full of flowers. The prisoner's fury erupts. Riots in the chaos, Sonetto blocks an arcane skill that pierces the air.
This is mad. You're accusing me without proof. It wasn't me.
This is getting out of hand. I suggest you ladies leave now.
No, wait! It all happened too fast. What happened to the idealist? Is he alright?
He was shot.
I didn't even get a chance to ask about Aleph.
He was not gonna tell you anyway. As the tide of people surges around them, the line between life and death blurs beyond recognition.
I agree with the jailer. Timekeeper, Miss Recoleta, let's get out of here.
Okay, I think this might be the perfect time to end the video. As soon as the violent conflict rages on, and everything else becomes meaningless, the illusion of time dissolves, its flow unknown. Under the garden's influence, the frenzy of prisoners begin to resemble an unreadable, chaotic epic. At this moment, an unidentifiable figure enters their midst, though no one takes notice. The newcomer scrutinizes the motionless corpse.
His vitals are gone. At last, some peace and quiet.
He's happy that happened.
Well, for a liar and a thief like him, there's hardly a better end than this.
A die. He reaches into the idealist's coat pocket and pulls out a die. It is an artifact marked by patterns veiled in smoke, an object seemingly not meant to exist in this world. A 20-sided die known only through an omniscient perspective. And now it is stained in an utterly corrupted blackness.
Just as I thought. You had it all along.
Is this another artifact taken by a manuscript dictate? I'm not sure. Not sure what it is, though. I think this might be the perfect time to end the video as well, because I am not end the video here. So, with that, I will say this. Thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you guys did enjoy the video, please give this video a like or dislike. If you guys are new to the channel, please check my channel out. And if you enjoy what I bring in this channel, if you like what you see, please be sure to click the subscribe button to support my channel. It'll be greatly appreciated, and I will love you all for it. I'd be honored if you just checked it out. So this was weird as it is. So we now know Recoleta was trying to find Aleph, her pen pal, and I guess trying to find some answers to her ending here, and then we end up in a prison. which somehow turned into a pool. Not really turned into a pool. It was a pool, but it turned into a garden. And it's a prisoner full of Arcanist criminals who turned into poets, artists, which is the weirdest thing you see in prison, that every cell is just an exhibition of their madness, or just worse. I'm not sure, but art is a madness term. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know what to say. It is time. It is almost 11 o'clock in the evening, almost midnight, and I am very tired. So I'm gonna end it. Like I said, I'll end this here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So as always, I will see you guys in the new video, and thanks for watching. So have a good night and have a good weekend. Bye.